Okay, good morning and welcome to the Windward Buddhist Temple Spring Ohigan Equinox Service. My name is Merle Tashiro and I will be your MC today. I'd like to welcome back Reverend Kevin Kuniyuki and thank him for coming today to officiate as well as give the Dharma Talk. We will begin this morning with the ringing of the temple bell or Kansho that signifies the beginning of the temple service. It is a deep and sacred ritual steeped in ancient tradition. It is a calling of the people to come together to listen to the Dharma or teachings. The temple bell represents the gratitude and deep appreciation of the members, friends, and guests of Windward Buddhist Temple. Please sit quietly in your seat. We will begin the service this morning with an offering of flowers and light. Please rise for the meditation, followed by the chanting of the Vandana Ti-Sarana by the congregation in Pali and English. This is to be found in the red Jodo Shinshu Service book on page 7. Please be seated. Today's sutra is Juseige, which can be found in the red Jodo Shinshu Service book on page 54, beginning on 55. That's the Juseige.
Nam man nam nam man nam nam man nam nam man. Gagon chosegan hishibu jodo 시간 흠한속 세부조쇼각 가오무료코 후이다이세슈 후사이쇼빙그 세부조쇼각 다시조부츠도 묘쇼초집호 국교미쇼몬 세부조쇼각 리오쿠진쇼넨 조에슈봉교 시그무조도 이쇼텐닌시 진리키 엔다이코 후쇼무사이도 쇼조상구묘 고사이슈야쿠난 가이히치엥엔 메시코모안 헤이소쿠쇼 아쿠도 수다츠젠슈몬 고소조만족 이요로집보 니치가츠슈주키 탱코옴푸겐 이슈카이호조 고세쿠도쿠호 조오다이슈추 세포시시쿠 구요 일사이붓 그소쿠슈 토쿠혼 간네시스조만 토쿠이상가이오 뇨부츠 무게치 스다츠미후쇼 강가그 에릭 도시사이쇼손 시간야코카 다이센 오칸도 sai do tsu bodai ishin ojo
Please rise for the recitation, Homages, which can be found in the Red Jodo Shinshu Service Book on page 2. Hard it is to be born into human life. Now we are living in it. Difficult it is to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear them. If we do not gain emancipation in this present life, we may not be free from ill-faring in the ocean of births and deaths for kalpas. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures. We go to the Buddha for guidance. May we always walk in the path that leads to enlightenment. We go to the Dharma for guidance. May we submerge in the depth of the teachings, gaining wisdom as deep as the ocean. We go to the sun for guidance. May we all with one accord live the life of harmony, spiritual oneness, free from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriads of kalpas, hard it is to hear such excellent and profound teachings. Now we're able to hear and receive them. Let us try to understand the Tathagata's teachings. Please continue to stand for the Gatha at our altar, found in the purple Praises of the Buddha book on page 22. Please be seated. Our speaker today is Reverend Kuniyuki, and Dennis will be introducing him.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Reverend Kevin has been a longtime friend of Windward Buddhist Temple, and we welcome him back. Reverend Kevin is a Waipahu High School graduate, matriculated at the University of Hawaii, Manoa. Prior to becoming a minister, he was an instructor at University of Hawaii in Manoa in the Department of Electrical Engineering. Smart person. A computer consultant and an instructor at UH Hilo in the Continuing Education and Community Service Department. In 1994, he obtained his Tokudo ministerial certificate. Then he graduated from Chuo Bukkyo Gakuen
Gakui.
and attained his kyoshi, or the full ordination, in 1996. Reverend Kevin has served as resident minister first at the Hawaii Betsuing, and then for the Fourth Temple Council on the Big Island, comprised of Honomu, Honohina, Papaaloa, and Papaiko Hongwanji. And finally at Wahiawa Hongwanji, then he served as the director of the Buddhist Study Center and Office of Buddhist Education. Reverend Kevin retired in 2021. He is married to his best friend and co-pilot and safety officer, Dale. Welcome, Kevin, Reverend Kevin.
Kevin is good. No. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. How's it, guys? You staying dry? Well, I hope that I know this side had worse impact than where where we live on the west side. So, I should say, I think the west side, the true west side got it really bad, but we're kind of more towards Honolulu side. So we were fortunate. But so everybody's okay, I hope, Maybe you have to clean up a little bit, right? But in any case, yeah, ganbatte, hang in there. Okay, actually, before I get into my main topic, and don't worry, you're not going to get trapped, lately, when you get older, you love to talk, So, the clock is up there, so I'll be looking at that. And Dennis, don't be afraid to go, okay, if it's too long. But in any case, though, I wanted to share with you a little bit more information. As you folks probably are aware, because probably every time you hear this, right, the time of Ohigan is where the day and night are equal. And the important thing to keep in mind about equal is that it also means that things are in balance, right? And the other thing to reflect on, is that in order for your life to be in balance, that is why the teachings are there. And finally, the universe is in balance, because in our Shin Buddhist belief, all those who have passed before us have gone to the Pure Land, right? And they return. Did you know that? And not everybody knows that, maybe, but and don't worry, guys. There isn't a whole bunch of ghosts running around, okay? But what we believe is that Pure Land is in the heart, over here, right? So they are with us in our hearts. And what's interesting is that it took a time for, that transition in feeling to go from Japanese culture to American culture. Because there was a reference to kokoro in Japanese culture, but not as clearly as in American culture. So I think that's American Shin Buddhism's contribution. So the time of Higang is also a time to reflect on all of those you love and to remember the good memories. So it's a time of Dharma, okay? And a time of remembrance. So that's why in Japan, I guess the American Japanese are familiar with the term hakamaidi. And unfortunately, sometimes in American Japanese communities, Hakamari is only associated with Obon, yeah? But it also should be associated with Higan. Yeah? So it's a time where, people go in Japan, they go to clean the graves and to reflect on the relationship that still continues with those they love. Yeah? And it's all in the heart, in the memory. Yeah? So just wanted to share that with you. Now, don't worry, you're not trapped, okay? I'm still, just one last little thing. Juseige, okay? I don't know whether I should have done it before sometimes I do it before the chanting. But there's a little passage before the chant in the book. When you guys have time, take a look. It kind of explains it, there are sutras that are central to each sect of Buddhism. And for us, sect of Buddhism, there are 3 sutras. Yeah? The largest sutra, the Meditation Sutra, and the Amida Sutra. And for our founder, Shinran Shonin, true reality is expressed in the larger sutra. Yeah? And it begins with the story of Amida Buddha. Yeah? And the Juseige is part of the story of Amida Buddha. Because before Amida became a Buddha, he was the Bodhisattva Dharmakara. Yeah? And the Juseige, his pronouncement, okay, he's about to go into very hard practice. He has figured out how to encompass all people in great wisdom and compassion. Yeah? And he makes this announcement and vow before his teacher. Yeah? I won't go into gory details. Maybe we can do that in another Dharma session or whatever, okay? But just keep that in mind. Yeah? So it's part of our tradition of religious story. Okay. So, okay, let's get to the point here. So today we are reflecting on the Dharma, right? And especially, more specifically, yeah, the Dharma of the historic Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha. Okay, so let me see it. Okay, it's my fault it doesn't work. It's not Brian's fault, okay? I gotta check this and do it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we are, Shakyamuni's life and teaching. So actually I'm cheating. This is part of a series I'm working on. Okay, so specifically, this presentation today is about Shakyamuni's teaching to the Kalamas. Yeah? Not Kalama Valley, okay? In ancient India, there were people that referred to as the Kalamas. Yeah? So, and the gist of his teachings was thinking for yourself and to be a critical thinker. Okay, I cast it in more modern terms. So, keep in mind, guys, I'm going to remind you, if you're a Buddhist, okay, it behooves you to be a critical thinker. Sometimes it's hard, yeah? Humbug. You got to make the extra effort, yeah? But you should be a critical thinker. Okay? So let's go on. A little bit of introduction here. Okay, map of India. Yeah? And what we're going to do is, you see that the square around India? We're going to blow that part up a little bit. Okay? Okay, here's the blow up. Okay? Now, this is kind of northern India. It's more like in the area of Nepal, where the historic Buddha was active. Okay? So, you see the brown Gijigaji area on top, okay? That's the one where the Himalayas are. Yeah? And then below that is where a lot of the activities of the Indian culture took place, yeah? Specifically the Buddha. Okay, so let's point out a specific area here. Okay, so at least you can see the arrow, right? Yeah. So where that location is where the Kalamas lived. Yeah? In the land of Kosala. Yeah? So, when you hear about the sutras, right? The sutras occurred all in that area, all in that general area where you see the colored shaded area. Okay, let's go on. So now I think it's a little bit geography lesson. Let's go on. Okay, so let's get into the words of the sutra. One day, the world-honored one, along with many disciples, left the Jeta Grove Monastery and headed for the country of Kosala, and came to the town of Kesaputta, where the people of the Kalama clan resided. The people, after saluting the Buddha, remarked, "O world-honored one, when a group of monks visits our town, they praise their own teachings, but highly ridicule and denounce other teachings." Sound familiar? Okay? Let's go on. Then along comes another group of monks, and they do the same thing. Okay? Now we are confused and do not know which one of the groups is telling the truth and which one is not. And this is where critical thinking comes in, okay, guys? To this, the Buddha replied, "O people of Kalama, it is understandable that you have doubts and are confused. O people of Kalama, you need not accept things you have heard through hearsay. You need not accept legends as they are relayed, or even what is written in sutras." Interesting. Scripture, okay? "Or speculations on ideas such as it may well be." Yeah. It's I guess a more formal saying, common sense. Okay. Okay? Or things that you feel are in line with your thinking. That's important. Okay? Not just say, "Oh, yeah, I agree with that." Okay? It's a superficial way of thinking. Or words of a famous monk. That's another thing we do, right? The guy must be smart, so I go listen to him. No, they said, don't do that. "O people of Kalama, you should maintain right views." Yeah. Now, when you say right views, we're talking about values. Yeah. Values and beliefs. Try and ferret that out. Okay. And avoid anything that is not a good dharma for you. And that's another thing. Okay. You're talking about things that is for you, not anybody else. Okay. Many times in this world, it's easier to kind of look at other people and say, "Oh yeah, that person's not following the rules." And you don't look at yourself, yo. Okay. Anything that is polluted and impure, anything that is rejected by the wise, and anything you know will bring about losses and agony if you become attached to it. Okay, so he's telling you, okay, there are things you do to evaluate it, but especially look at it. Is it going to mess you up? Look at it good. "O people of Kalama, what is your opinion?" And this is the way the Buddha taught, you know. He didn't only lecture. It was a dialogue. Yeah? "Tell me, what do you think that those who harbor greed and anger in their hearts will gain or sustain losses?" Okay? To this, they answered that there could be only losses. The Buddha said, "O people of Kalama, a person who is greedy, quick to anger, and ignorant is a victim." See, here's another interesting thing. He doesn't say he's a SOB. Yeah. He's a victim of greed, anger, and ignorance. Okay, guys, Dharma school guys. Does that sound familiar? Yes. Okay. He is one obsessed with things, who tells lies, takes what is not given, victimizes other person's wives. Okay, sorry guys, this is ancient India, so little male-oriented, okay. Tells lies, and also forces others to do those actions. Is it not true that such a person will suffer prolonged losses and agonies? Now, you see, the thing to really be careful about is that he's talking about long term. Many times we say, "Oh, the guy's doing okay now. Yeah, how come?" No, this is long-term suffering. O people of Kalama, are those actions good or bad? Moreover, are they impure and polluted, or are they not? Are they things that the wise abhor, or would they be welcomed by them? And if one were attached to them, would they bring losses and agonies or not? Okay, so he has them think about it again, right? And the thing is that I know this is like almost like a scripted sutra and stuff like that. In reality, the Buddha would accept objections. Okay? This is kind of cleaned up. There probably were objections, okay? But if you put in all the debates, then you guys will be stuck here to this afternoon, okay? Okay, to this, the people had answered, O world honor one, they are all evil and impure, and could only bring untold losses and agonies. The Buddha said, O people of Kalama, this is what I mean when I instruct you that you should not too readily accept hearsay, legends, contents of sutra. That's amazing, okay? That means scripture, okay? Speculations, likes, dislikes, or things that are said even by those you respect, okay? I mean that you should discard them if you have realized that the matter in question is not right according to your judgment. Okay? Now, he's telling you take responsibility for what you believe in. Yeah? Furthermore, okay? Okay, by your own judgment that is impure, and is something that the wise truly look down upon, and it is something that will bring you losses and agonies. By the same token, this is the important part. Once you are certain that the matter is of concern is good, free of defilements or evil, welcome and liked by the wise, and sure to bring about benefits and happiness, then you should abide by it. Okay, abide by it. That's important. So, what is he saying? Okay, you can say, I have these values, right? But what's this also saying? Hey, you better live by it. Yeah? If we human beings, sometimes we're good at saying, oh, all these nice things, and then we mess up. Okay. O people of Kalama, do you think that overcoming craving, controlling anger, and let's say not be at the mercy of one's ignorance is a blessing or a disadvantage? The people answered, it is an advantage for all peoples. The Buddha said, O people of Kalama, note that those who have freed themselves from, okay, here we go again, greed, anger, and ignorance, will not be victims of their greed, anger, and ignorance. They will always be in full control of their minds, will not take life, will never take what is not given, will not victimize other persons' wives, will not tell lies, and will not have others do impure acts. This is indeed everlasting blessing and happiness for all people. Okay? So, what the Buddha does is two things in this presentation here. Okay? He tells you be a critical thinker, right? Judge for yourself. And then he starts to teach the people about what the cause of their suffering is. Okay? Because the thing that many times we Buddhists forget when we get into all the other fancy thinking is that the goal of Buddhism is to address the problem of suffering first. Your suffering, most importantly. And the way you do it is to the Four Noble Truths. Okay, but let's go on. I'm going to get to that real quick. And if you look at the Four Noble Truths, it is done as either a problem-solving process or a doctor trying to find a diagnosis, which is the same thing as a problem-solving process. Number 1, states the problem. Number 2, determines the cause. Number 3, in a general way, addresses the cause. And number 4, specifies the steps to solve the problem. Yeah? So that's what the Four Noble Truths is. Okay? So, what's the problem? Suffering in all range of afflictions. Okay, again, I'm not going to go into detail because I don't want you to get stuck here. Yeah, but let me give you a little commercial. It's going to be in my Dharma lessons that's coming up, the 4-session Dharma lessons, okay? Then the cause, and that's what the Buddha is referring to. The cause is greed, anger, and ignorance. Okay, again, just kind of talking in general terms. Now, this is a challenging one for anybody philosophically, but it's something you work through as a Buddhist. Okay? You, in general terms, address the cause by living in harmony. We just talked about harmony, right? With dependent origination. Now, you know, it's a more accessible term, interdependence. You always try and think interdependently. Yeah? And you think broadly. And if you're thinking interdependently, you're thinking that your actions will cause good and harm to yourself, will cause good and harm to others. Yeah? And may have an effect in the larger community. Yeah? So you try and live accordingly. Yeah? How do you minimize suffering? Is to honor interdependence. Yeah? Try not to have yourself suffer. Try not to have other people suffer. Try not to mess up the community. Okay? And finally, the Eightfold Path. Again, not going to go into it, okay, guys, but there's a really neat way of addressing it. But again, commercial, we'll be doing it in the Dharma classes, okay? Okay, see, I thought that this temple had it, but this quote comes from Buddha Dharma. Yeah, it's published by the BDK, and what it is that it's the organization that is like the Buddhist Gideons. It places teachings of the Buddha books in hotels, and it also distributes it free to temples and other people who are interested. It also has this immense project to translate all the sutras into English. Yeah, it's not even halfway there, guys. Yeah, but they did publish a book that compiles what they have translated by concept, not in chronological order, but in concept order. Okay, so I gotta find a way to get you guys a copy of this book. The temple is supposed to have it, you know. But yeah, you know, as temples move and stuff, things get lost, right? So no can help. But that's something that we should try and look for this temple. Okay, and let me give you more background here. Don't worry, you're not super trapped, okay? I was using images, yeah, of the Buddha, and I just wanted to give credit where credit was due. Yeah. There's a wonderful museum in Korea, the National Museum, Korean National Museum. Yeah, and it has a really good Buddhist collection, paintings, statues, yeah, that go back to the early Buddhist beginnings in Korea. Yeah. So specifically, that statue, yeah, is an iron Buddha, yeah, that came from, you see those, that's a long time ago, yeah, from the Shila period, around, 7th century, yeah, on, yeah. And why is it so big? So sometimes you cannot, date everything, right? Yeah, unless it has carbon in it. But this is iron. And why did they use iron? Because Buddhism became popular in Korea. Yeah? And although the original statues were made of bronze is expensive. Yeah? Iron is a little cheaper. But the amazing thing I find, look at the Buddha. It's iron, right? But it's not rusted. It's a symbol of care and the way it was forged. Yeah. Okay, let's go on a little bit. Another thing where my wife and I are really lucky when we visit the museum, there's a special show there, which was a joint effort between the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, yeah, and the Korean National Museum, where they brought together all the stone, images from what they call stupa, and we'll go into that a little bit. Yeah, there are amazing works of art, ancient art, even before the Shila period. Yeah. More about stupas. Yeah, there are immense structures built to house the ashes of the Buddha. Yeah. Now the poor guy, he was so beloved that his ashes were split into parts. Okay, and they were placed in various stupas that looked like this. This is a sketch of one of the existing stupas in India. Yeah, it's called the Sanchi Stupa. Yeah, it's still there. It's still standing. Amazing. Yeah, after thousands of years. Yeah, and the stone carvings, were from the demolished. There I forget exactly how many. Maybe 8 stupas. Not all survived, but the carvings in the ruins were there. So that's what was recovered, and exists all over the world, and was brought together for that time at the Korean National Museum. I think that's all. Oh yeah, that's the carving I was using. Yeah, it's the Buddha, sharing the Dharma with the monks and the people. Again, commercial announcement. Okay, so we're going to be covering a lot of the details, soon at this temple, starting May 11th, and gotta correct that. April. I almost got you guys coming the wrong day. Okay, thank you, Dennis. Okay, what I want you to do is kind of get excited about learning more Dharma. Yeah, it's because it's not only interesting, but it will help you with your life. Yeah, and never forget that in the end, the Dharma is there for you. Yeah, to be able to address your own suffering. That's the goal of Buddhism. Many people forget that. Yeah, and it's not for anybody else but for you. Yeah, and finally, in Shin Buddhism, here's the wonderful message of Shin Buddhism. It is understood that it's very hard to be a perfect person. Yeah? That the human being, we have emotional limitations. Yeah? And the point of basic Buddhism is to make us more emotionally mature. However, it's a life process. It's not an end point. Yeah? And that is why the reality of great wisdom and compassion, which understands our condition, is always with us. Okay? It's that unnameable thing that is belief, guys, okay? I'm not saying you have to believe what I believe, okay? You can choose to or not. Okay, I'm trying to sound like Buddha. Okay, but in any case, this is I'm trying to, yeah. Think about it. I believe that there's something greater than me that gives me the inner strength to be human, to make my mistakes, but then to move forward, to correct them, to every day be a better person. Okay? That is the innovation of Shin Buddhism. Yeah. Contrary to popular opinion, religions don't stay static from the time of the founder. It evolves. Yeah. And there was many improvements and adaptations that happen in Buddhism. Because one of the things that Buddhism does, it doesn't go into in the culture and says, okay, we're going to change your culture. Buddhism changes in accordance to the culture it enters. Yeah? So it's changing right now, to our culture. But there are many contributions from India, China, Korea, and Japan that have made Pure Land Buddhism what it is today. Okay? And we accept all of them. Some people, being a foolish human being, they think that Shinran Shonin was the beginning and ending of time, but the Shonin himself understood he was part of a tradition. Yeah, it is stated in the Shoshinge. Do you guys know what Shoshinge is? Have you ever chanted that before? Yeah, it's done at funerals, but no, everybody don't know why. Okay, yeah, it's done because it's actually a summary of our religion. People don't realize that. And Shinran Shonin presented the whole panorama of Buddhist history, you know, from Shakyamuni to the Indian masters, to the Chinese masters, and then to the Japanese masters. Yeah. And in his Jodo Shinshu, he even honors the Korean masters. Well, because of the little hooky between Japan and Korea, some guys don't recognize it. Yeah. But hopefully that human foolishness will be subsided one day. Okay, so anyway, see, when you get old, you want to talk a lot. Okay, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you for your attention. Yeah, and I hope you folks got the point. Please, in your life, make that effort to be a critical thinker. Yeah, but when you accept something, what do? You live by it. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Namandab, 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 namandab.
Thank you, Reverend Kevin. Please rise for the Gatha Arigatai, found in the Purple Praises of the Buddha book on page 14 and 15, and continue to stand for the Nembutsu found in the same book on 145. Thank you. Please be seated. That's the end of this morning's service. We have announcements by Dennis.
Good morning again.
Morning.
Thank you, Reverend Kevin. That was a lot of information, but just enough to get people interested. Okay, so his classes, we have the sign-up sheet in the back, April 11th and the 25th. Anyway. But thank you for that message. How about that Rainbow Warrior basketball team? Yes! Finally, I get something to cheer about. Proud to be a Rainbow. This morning we have a guest, Evan. Hi, Evan. Welcome. Yep. Please all welcome him to our temple. Did I miss anybody? Okay. Today is the start of our spring food drive. It'll support the Hawaii Food Bank. You might have heard in the news they're actually having a food drive now with large corporations and banks and so on. But we enjoy, or we like to be part of that drive to support the food bank and to feed those people that are in need. So we do have boxes set up. We'll be collecting until April 19th, okay? We will not have a service next Sunday here at Windward Buddhist Temple. Instead, we will have a booth at the annual Hongwanji Spring Bazaar. It'll be held at the Hawaii Bitsuing from 8:30 in the morning till noon. We will be selling numerous food items such as the manju, takuang, bitter melon amasu, pickled cabbage, and a number of other things. Other temples and affiliated organizations will also be selling items. Please attend the bazaar and support our booth, but do look at the other booths, and there's some good food out there. Our next service back here will be our remembrance service on March 29th. If you'd like to remember a loved one who passed away in the month of March of any year, you may do so during the remembrance service. Please add your name of your loved one to the list that'll be at the greeters table. And if you have a picture of your loved ones, you're welcome to bring it, and we'll display it up here. Reverend Tatsuo Muneto will be the officiant and speaker. Then in April, we will not have a Sunday service on April 5th, the first Sunday in April. The Hawaii Buddhist Council, consisting of 7 Buddhist denominations, will be holding its annual joint Buddha Day or Hanamatsuri service in observance of the birth of the Buddha. It'll be held at the Hawaii Bitsuing at 9:30 a.m. A message will be given by Dr. George Tanabe. So please attend the service and represent Windward Buddhist Temple. I do have a flyer posted on the bulletin board if you want more information. And again, the Adult Dharma classes, Reverend Kevin said we can accept up to 20 names, and I already have, I think, 13 or so. So please, if you're interested, see the flyer, and the sign-up sheet in the back. There's a little write-up about his classes, and please do sign up. Joy.
Reverend Kevin mentioned BDK, and Dr. Tanabe is he still the Hawaii?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I
he
think
was. He used to be, yeah,
he used to
retired.
be.
He used to be the head of the Hawaii BDK. Today we're still gonna have a Gatha practice after. I think we'll throw in the upcoming Hanamatsuri Happy Buddha Day Gathas to practice. So if you're sticking around after refreshments, come out on this side and sing with us. Thank you.
By the way, I like the way this temple sings and chants.
Good morning. There's a couple of things that I wanted to share with you. There's a obutsudang in the back there. Someone donated it, and if anybody needs one for their home, you're welcome to take it home with you. The other thing is, every April we've been participating with the Kailua service events. We feed the homeless and provide not only lunch but snacks. I just wanted to share with you that they are celebrating 100 months of service on the day that we're providing the lunch. So there'll be all kinds of, they're inviting community leaders of our state and county representatives. There'll be music, refreshments, and acknowledgments of all the supporters. They're celebrating 100 monthly service fair on that day. And they started in 2018, and so did we. So we're one of the first people that signed up for a month. So we don't need to feed all these other people. We only just make the lunch for our people, our homeless. The third thing is that, I know we don't have a Dharma school. It's something that we should still aspire for. Because they're the people that's going to grow up to be like us, and there got to be people behind us to keep this temple going. And so the Hongwanji Mission of Hawaii Buddhist Study Center is having Reimagining Dharma School. It's a one-day workshop for the Hawaii Hongwanji Dharma educators or anybody that's interested to collaborate, share, and innovate new approaches to Dharma learning, such as what is Dharma school, how do I start or build our Dharma school, which Buddhist concepts should we teach, what kinds of activities can we do, and what resources are available. This is the first time they're doing it at the Buddhist Study Center on Saturday, May 2nd from 9:30 to 4. I've always been interested in starting a Dharma school. I'm hoping someone else would be as well and would be interested enough to attend this session, and we'll have this posted. And interestingly, I got an email from Debbie Kubota, who's in charge of it, and asked that if we do anything at our temple that involves children, if we would like to share that craft or whatever. So I was hoping there'll be some children here today, because I was going to ask you which things that we've done that you really enjoy, because they want people to share it at this session, and I'd be more than happy to do that. The other thing is on April, the day that we have the joint Hanamatsuri at the Betsuing, they've asked all the temples to contribute things for desserts, which we will do. But in addition, Reverend Furusawa has asked whether we would have a table there to share some of the crafts that we do. So Cynthia and I will be there. And if you people attend, if you can help, if we get a big group around our table, we're going to do the string art. So for those of you that have done that, I think that's an easy one that even children can do. So let me know if you want the butsudang in the back. I have a box for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Prudence. And Prudence has been spearheading working with the Kailua Service organization from the very beginning. So thank you, Prudence. Are there any other announcements? If not, it's time for refreshments. Let's all recite the words of thanksgiving that'll be up on the screen. We are truly grateful for this wonderful food, a gift of life. May we share its benefits with all beings. As we partake of this food, let us remember Amida Buddha's compassion, which surrounds all people and all forms of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Itadakimasu. Thank you.